Hello friends, welcome to Exampur. I hope my voice is audible, screen is visible, everything is set. If this is so, please do let me know so that I can proceed with the lecture. Okay. So before going forward for the lecture, I just want to let you know regarding the Exampur app and how you can gain the benefits, how you can just grab the benefits out of the app. You just need to explore the app where you will get to see different kind of benefits that is available for the free. Just like the subject lectures in a very systematic and sequential basis. Plus, you would be having more and more test series, and accordingly, on the basis of your test series and the way you are solving the paper, you would be given scholarship. And scholarship basis, you can just purchase the batches, and you would avail huge rate of discount on the same. And if you do not want to purchase the batches, you can have the access of the app that is for free. Tremendous amenities would be available on the same app. So please do not forget to install the app. You just require to fulfill these 6 steps. You need to get registered on the app. Next, today, before proceeding towards the lecture, I just want to give a clear glance regarding the article which is there in the picture today. In the Hindu, they were asking about what government is required to do. I'm just going to give 2 to 3 minutes glance in that perspective. Like one of the major sector we can talk about and what kind of fiscal stimulus in need is required in the Indian economy. With respect to Indian economy, what is required, what is need of our, that is fiscal stimulus. Fiscal stimulus, what is being given the perspective to explore or to expand the growth rate, that is you need to increase the upgradation, you need to expand the base of consumption and investment. Okay, and what is the need of R? What is the main concern of country? That is aggregate demand you need to look at. From the individual point of view, we have to make spending. We are creating demand by making the consumption on that behalf. Plus investment on part of final consumption, final investment, capital formation or the investment format or the investment by private investors. Plus G is all about government expenditure, whatever investments being made by government in expenditure. Then the net export. And what is being talked about in the article, that what is the need, what is the major concern in today's economy, that is we are looking at 2 perspectives. These 2 perspectives are not doing so well in it. And this is investment. This is supposed to be or meant to be a major contributor in aggregate demand. In aggregate demand, which is anyhow impacting the income level of Indian economy. Okay, so what we just want to convey over here by this is private capital formation, whatever level of capital formation, investment taking place in the economy. Anyhow, this investment and the government, investment plus including the government expenditure expenditure, if they are both are contributing towards the capital formation, capital formation is going to generate the income level. This is going to generate the employment opportunity then it would make expansion in the income level, expansion in output. So this is the basic requirement. This is the major concern which has been raised in the article, that what is the need in Indian economy, that is to make expansion in this base. This is the major contributor, and approximately 25%, 24 point something percent is being made as the contribution in the economy. So this is the requirement on the basis of that article. If we are expanding the base, it is going to generate not only the demand, it is not only pushing or boosting the growth level, but also making the inclusive growth, as it is providing the opportunity, a job opportunity to the people. Means it would make significant effect or impact on the common people. So this was the article it was all about, and no requirement of memorizing the facts about it. Like facts, I'm talking about trends. These trends will keep on changing, so I'm not telling the trends on those basis. So what we are talking about, the global jewelry export to UAE. Global jewelry export. Is this article that important? Yes, it is that important. What you just need to understand about it, Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. This is, as the name itself signifies the impact, that this is comprehensive. This is comprehensive in nature. What do you mean by comprehensive? It is showing the complete nature. Complete. Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. Just after the meeting of G7, we have gone to UAE. And why this is the important, this would be the important ingredient, we would say. This would be important or prominent step if we are accomplishing any target under this agreement. Why is it so? Economic, like we are making the partnership, we are making the agreements. Like this is for the perspective of trade, and this is with reference to resources. Okay, gold jewelry export. We are exporting to UAE up to 42%. 42%, it is making huge difference. And from the point of view of prelims, you can be asked for trade agreements, and you can be asked for the organization in which India involved. India is the part of. So, and next point, different form of trade agreements, bilateral, multilateral agreements are there. Different kind of free trade agreements, different kind of agreements are there. You need to know, and how one agreement is different from other. You need to make the proper assessment about the economic partnerships, and with respect to means India and UAE comprehensive economic partnership is very much important part. Okay, so now we are going to read in detail. What we are talking about here is India's gold jewelry. It is making expansion in last 2 months. You know what is the main theme line beyond it? What is the background behind it? You need to understand about that. The first of all, you might have faced the problem due to pandemic, as other countries has also faced, and we have not made that much of demand. We have not made that much of demand, but second invasion of Russia on Ukraine. Ukraine crisis, I would say. So this has distorted the alternative, like distorted the varieties of energy sources we used to use. So what we are showing, declining in the alternatives plus decline in supply, which is raising the price increase. This is again one of the cause of increment in price level. Somewhere these 2 pointers are making what? Import bill. It is making the rise in import bill. And we do not have that much of money to make repayments. As what would we say to this condition? This is making the outflow in capital. This is making outflow in capital. This is one of the cause of making the decline in value of rupee. What do we call to that term? That is depreciation. Depreciation. So this is the background behind it. Why we do require the UAE? As I've said in the in this point, as I've mentioned in this point, what I was saying, due to increase in import bill, we are required to make more payments. We are required to make more payments. How would we pay that? Do we have that much of amount of money? If we do not have, then what to do in that situation? We would require money in order to pay, in order to make payment to that country. And we are not even in that condition to make a decline in the import part. Obviously, we do not have any other source to use. Obviously, we have inelastic demand for the oil. We would require like oil for the transportation purpose, and transportation is the baseline for every segment of the economy, right? So it is the inelastic demand. So we can go for many of the sources. We have options in that segment. Either we can take loan, or we can make a FDI, and we can go for the FPI condition. These are the conditions which we can take it as the accommodatory measures. Accommodatory measures. Okay. So what I just want to convey over here with the help of CEPA, what CEPA could help in. It can help us out. Either we can make a, if we are easing the trade practices for UAE, they'll invest in our country. Either they'll invest in our country or they'll demand for our goods and services. In either of the cases, it is making upgradation in our, it is anyway making upgradation in rupee value. Okay. Due to what reason? I've just mentioned you. Like either they'll make investment or they'll make demand for India's goods and services So this is going to raise the value of rupee, right? So this is the better condition to make the, instead of making the payment, we have other alternative to make a balance in the trade, and so that we would not be in condition where we can face the possibility of shortages of fund, shortages of repayment. We are not in condition to make payments. So you can continue to depreciate. No, we do not want to attain that condition. since as the part of comprehensive agreement, we can take the advantage out of the situation. We can boost, we can just establish that kind of relation with UAE. In a way, they can raise the demands and boost the demand for goods and services, and they would come in that condition to make investment in Indian territory. So this is the free trade pact, and we are just making them easy in order to supply their factors and all. If they just want to make investment, we are making the easy performer for them, so that they would not feel that struggle to make investment. If we are making the processes simpler from complex one for the comprehensive agreement, that would work only in our favor along with the UAE, who are really in need to have that segment. Okay, so 17% growth from a year ago. So USD 5.4 billion, a 17% growth a year ago. So export has increased, and export is making earning for Indian economy. That is in India's favor. So what benefited the growth of jewelry exports? Obviously, if we are making export, that is also by 42%, making upgradation, making increase in earning. Okay, jewelry from countries like India's exporter are facing tough competition in jewelry, gold jewelry. From countries like Turkey, India's export are showing decline before the FTA. Okay, in order to make the competition with a country like Turkey, and we have to, what do you mean by the competitive word? We have to provide the services, goods at a cheaper rate. It is going to raise the accessibility. Okay, so if we are coming under the agreement of free trade agreement, if we are stating our agreement under the free trade, obviously it is going to make the things competitive enough. And free trade agreement, when did it come into the force? Like May 2022, removal of duties would benefit the export. Why is it so? Because earlier we used to have increase in the prices. Earlier we used to have the increase in the prices, and this free trade pact would remove tariff, which is making the India's prices competitive enough in the global scenario. Okay, so this is how it is going to help us. Earlier we used to face increase in the prices, which was restricting our export in the global scenario. Now, if we are making the establishment of comprehensive agreement, and where we have to just sign the free trade agreement, making the things easier, which is removing the tariff, which is making the India's price competitive enough to make an entry in the economy, in the global economy. Next point is all about India got zero duty access to UAE. The way we are making the benefits out of the UAE would also have benefits out of India. The way we are providing the simpler provisions for the UAE to make investment, we are providing the simpler provisions if they want to make demands for goods and services. In return, what we are going to get? Repayment facilities in terms of investment. We are not required to make payments in cash, like in money format. The way we have to make the capital outflow due to having upgradation in the import bill, we are facing right now. I have already elaborated that point. what kind of situation we are going through. Like this situation is making the decline in the alternative. We used to earlier import the coal and all these kind of energy sources. Now we have to ultimately bear entire burden on the crude, which is the like requirement, basic requirement for the transportation, and transportation demand is totally inelastic in nature, as every sector basis uh, like it is the main basis for every sector, and import bills are going up due to this reason, because decline in the supply side is making upgradation in the price format. Anyhow, even if we are making the same level of demand, due to the increment in prices, it is raising the import bill. If they are raising the import bill, it is declining the value of our currency, depreciation is taking place. In the same format, free trade is helping us out. It is like expanding the base for exports, and that export is earning, providing the earning. India in turn allow 1% duty concession on gold import from UAE. From UAE concession, like you would get privilege if you are the part of comprehensive agreement partnership. Okay, partnership agreement you are talking about, 5% attracted duty earlier and facilitating entry of India's products in North Africa, West Asia, Central Asia market. So what kind of benefit you are getting out of the CEPA? I mean, what kind of components you need to make inclusion in trade in goods. The way we are talking about jewelry right now, it is making the things, it is expanding the base of Indian market. It is making the exploration of Indian market in the West Asia and the African countries. This kind of benefit you are getting out of the approach you have established with UAE, because UAE have a good level of interlinkage with the countries, as they are the foremost and leading sector in crude market. James jewelry, you might have heard about it. We are on first number. We are also making export in the jewelry and gems and stones. So we are performing so well. It is going to help us out to make the things competitive enough to approach the market, to make Indian economy as the representative in the global scenario. Good morning, Bharti. So, what kind of goods and services you can just deal in? Like agriculture market, you might have heard of wood products and engineering goods and the automobiles. I have mentioned in the today's lecture in the very morning, like software, we are considered as the software hub. Software hub, we exports the software services. Plus the pharma, we are playing a leading role in the entire world scenario. Automobiles industry is running so amazing in India. So we are on number top five. Okay, we are expecting to reach at number 3 by the year 2030. So we are performing so good. They can take advantage out of trade in the goods which are in India's interest. Yes, you can take the example of dry fruits as well. Okay. So trade in services. Services, the way I have just mentioned you about, India is so great in software services. This is the reason we can just make a comment that FDI, 80% of the FDI is coming out of the service sector. Obviously, it is like playing a very major and prominent role in Indian economy. So broader services we are providing, communication services, engineering, even if today we are talking about increasing the fintech. We are on number 3rd in case of a unicorn. And we have approached what we have aimed at to go beyond 100. We have aimed at in the last month 105 unicorn. Every week we were adding a single unicorn since the January month. So in every 7 days we are adding one unicorn. It is making a big boost in the Indian economy, not only in Indian economy, but it is giving a boost due to the service sector, which other countries can deal with us. So construction, distributory services, environmental, these kind of recreational and trade in services, they can take help of health services and the educational services. We can make the licensing with the each other, make interlinkage in the educational services and all recreational. We are so good in tourism. They can take the best advantage out of the segment. The most important, why we are, what kind of benefits we are getting out of these trade. We are not at all meant for making the repayment. If they are making investment, if they are making deals with Indian economy, what is our major perspective that there is a huge burden on Indian economy to make repayments for the oil we are making import out of the country. So if we are making the comprehensive agreement with the UAE, it is going to ease the process, making the complex issues and to decline the fear that if we would be in condition to not making any repayment, we would be not in that condition to make a repayment for the oil services, as this holds the huge portion of our import. We are known about the fact. So it is going to ease the burden on us. So trade in pharmaceutical, we are playing a superficial role in the entire world economy. If we do talk about the generic medicine, if we do talk about the pharmaceutical, we are on number 2. Agree to separate annex on pharmaceutical to facilitate the access of. It is going to ease the platform for the other economy, and it is going to give the access to India's pharmaceutical industry towards the other country. Next is all about what is CEPA, what kind of ease and simpler provisions you are providing to the country if you are signing the comprehensive economic partnership agreement. Okay, so kind of trade pact. First of all, you are making the access of goods easy and cheaper. Okay. Even consider negotiation in areas such as trade facilitation, custom cooperation, competitive. If you are making the things cheaper, it is definitely going to make you competitive enough and expansion and market base. Number 2. Okay. So encompasses an agreement covering the regulatory issues. India has signed CEPAs with South Africa. You should be aware about the fact Comprehensive Economic Partnership Act. This is along with the South Korea and Japan plus the UAE you are in talk with. And earlier when you were having meeting with the G7 meet, you were the guest member of that meeting. What I just want to deliver over here, in neither of nation out of G7, you were not having any kind of comprehensive agreement with those countries, but with the UAE. And this is going to be beneficial for you as well, for India as well, that is going to make contribution in Indian economy. Not all those G7 countries could make the provisions for Indian economy. Obviously, because all the economy were developed enough, they have good provisions to help themselves out. Their intention is not to helping us out, but to exploit the developing country. So free trade agreement, what kind of agreement this is all about? You are going to get the concessions on the trade you are making, tariff concessions to with the partner nation, and negotiation FTA with many countries, Sri Lanka and various trading bloc, such as ASEAN you are talking about, South Asian nations you are talking about, and the RCEP, free trade agreement between the 10 nations. Why we are continuously widening the base of membership along with many of the countries? free trade, making the thing competitive and efficiency, qualitative services, increasing the gap between developing and developed nation. When we have come out of the RCEP partnership, we have faced a kind of situation. We were talking about the Atmanirbhar Bharat, number one. And second, we were not in state to make any agreement with such a huge group. First of all, we were in deficit with all existing economies in RCEP. Okay. And major criteria was to establish the competitive, not so competitive enough, to establish the market. Okay. So what we were trying to move towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. In order to protect domestic producers. Okay. So these are the clear basis. Preferential trade basis, two or more partners give preferential right to entry to certain products. If I am giving preference for 5 products, you have to give also preference over the 5 products or 4 products or 2 products. If I am giving preference over the specialized product available in our country, so you have to also give preferential basis to me. If I am making agreement with UAE with preferential trade, you have to also give preference to me in any aspect related to your product. Tariff may be reduced and zero for some products, even in PTA, preferential trade agreements signed with the Afghanistan. Okay. Next is all about comprehensive economic cooperation agreement. This is all about negotiation on the trade tariff and quotas you are talking about. India has signed the CECA cooperation agreement with Malaysia. You should have these clicks in mind with whom we are having FTA, with whom we are having CEPA, with whom we are having CECA cooperation agreement. It is about, we are talking about the Malaysia in that sense, and bilateral investment treaty. Bilateral in the like CEPA is a very a broader concept. You are including all these stuff in a very single segments. Okay. So we are taking the single segment. Everything is included in it. उनकी क्लास होगी शायद आज नहीं है, कल तक तो हो ही जाएगी. ठीक है सुमित? So bilateral investment treaty, 2 countries sit together and decide what to be done and what kind of investment is to be required for both the countries. Okay. So both the countries have to make addition in each the other's economy. Trade and investment framework agreements we are talking about, it is related to trade and the investments between 2 countries, establishing the base for trade and investment which could expand the economic activities in both the countries. Okay, so trade and investment, you need to make layout and what ways you have to just prepare the criteria for trade, and whatever level of investment you are making, you have to give the glance about it, and both the things have to make contribution in the economic activities which should belong to both the countries. Okay, so what kind of question could be asked out of the segment? Like it has been asked in previous year question paper, that the regional comprehensive economic partnership, when you deal with, what kind of questions could be asked? Like RCEP includes what? G20, ASEAN, SCO and SAARC. What all members are included? Yes, beyond ASEAN, you would get to see the 6 extra country, out of which one, India, has come out. India has come out of the picture. And these are the countries whereby 3.4 billion people you will get to see, 40% of the global trade taking place in the RCEP, and the total GDP you can make a glance with. Okay, so beyond the ASEAN, China, Japan, Korea, China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and India used to be the part. India, you can just eliminate, these 5 countries are also there. Okay, beyond ASEAN. Okay, so these are the countries are part of RCEP, and India walked out in that segment. Okay, so what we have studied in the picture till now, UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. First of all, we have studied about the article given in the Hindu newspaper, that in that we have asked to increase the fiscal stimulus in the form of expanding the base for consumption and investment. Yes, we have to include like aggregate demand. It is made up of consumption on individual basis, investment on behalf of private investors, government expenditure making spending for the economic activities, and next when we have to deal with the foreign trade. And we are we have to just make the major emphasis on those two ingredients and component of aggregate demand. And this is investment and growth, like government expenditure. These two are going to play the role for the capital formation, which is need of in our country, as it is going to provide the productive sources. Why do we refer to any component as the productive term in the economy? Why is it so? Because productivity would come into the picture when growth is taking place with the equality basis, with the job opportunity, making the exploration and inclusivity. Okay. So, investment, government expenditure going to form the capital formation, generate the employment opportunity, expansion in the output basis. Second article was all about what kind of influence you get to see out of the export expanded by 42% in with UAE by India. Obviously, it is making the expansion in the earning due to CEPA, Comprehensive Economic Partnership, and Free Trade Pact, which is making the prices cheaper. This is the background. In what ways you would require the comprehensive economic partnership agreement like this, and what kind of things is being produced out of the segment, and benefits of the growth. Exports, if they are easing the duties on Indian goods and services, means Indian goods are becoming so competitive enough which are making the marketplace in that behalf. Free trade market would remove the tariff, which is making the India's prices cheaper and competitive enough so that they can take the place in the market in the global scenario. Next is all about the zero duties, how it is going to help, and it is going to give the simpler basis and the special provisions and 1% concession on the products. 1% concession on the gold import. These kind of advantages we are getting out of the comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So trade, when you are making trade in goods, when you are making trade in services, where we are literally in rocking condition, where we are making trade in pharma. So these are the important field where UAE can take advantage out of it, and we are taking the advantage out of the import bill. Plus, we are taking the advantage out of the concession we are receiving on gold, in which we are holding the whole huge portion. And we already have the agreement with South Korea and Japan, CEPA, we are talking about Comprehensive Economic Partnership, South Korea and the Japan. And free trade agreement, RCEP, you need to look at, and these organization is trying to ease the framework which is making the price competitive, making the services efficient and qualitative one. No doubt it is going to increase the gap between all the segment. RCEP, why India has come out of the regional agreement, because we were in deficit condition with all the existing countries listed in the RCEP, not so competitive enough. That this could be the major reason, or we are already having that much of population to consume the goods and services, so we are not left with any export material. So third could be we were trying to move towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat, so that, good morning, good afternoon, Anirudh. So we were trying to move towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat to protect our domestic producer, to provide the stimulus basis for our domestic producer, so that economic activities could go good. And preferential trade agreement, this is about the goods and services, which is making favorable provisions for each other, which can benefit both the countries in their own behalf. And comprehensive economic cooperation, this is about cooperation agreement, and we are already having the agreements on that basis with the Malaysia. And bilateral aid at this point of time for country like developing one. Bilateral agreements are very important because these are not raising the gap between developed and developing countries to that level. And trade and investment, we are creating the framework, we are creating the guidelines on what basis trade has to be imposed and trade has to take place. And investment, the criterias we need to make decision on. On these aspects, we have to prepare a layout, and agreements has to be made. Accordingly, we can move. Next is all about what kind of question could be asked. Like I have just asked you to prepare the preferential free trade and comprehensive economic cooperation agreement, with which country you are having already the agreement. CEPA, if I do talk about. So the partnership agreement, you already have the agreement with South Korea and Japan. You could be asked for the same. RCEP, it includes what? ASEAN. ASEAN would be included in it, or India is not the part of it. And which all countries, what else is available beyond the ASEAN countries with RCEP? Those are China, Japan, Korea, Australia and New Zealand. So these kind of question could be raised in PYQ. And you should be known about the organization and dealing with the countries, naming of countries with these nation. You should keep the things in mind. So such kind of question could be raised in prelim. But what kind of question could be raised in mains? You can be asked for comprehensive agreement with UAE, comprehensive economic partnership agreement with UAE. What kind of a different feature it is taking along? So this is the mantra batch. You can take participation in it, and do not forget to use the Exampur app, which is making the availability of free benefits out of the app. So do not forget to use the app. And 9 to 10 you will get to see the economic static part, and 12 to 1 you will get to see the DNA, daily news analysis. So guys, if you have any problem, you can just put it in the comment box. I'll review it. Okay, accordingly things would be accommodated. Thank you so much. Have a great day to all of you.